Before I do my speech, I'd like to mention that I will be organising more of these Speakers Corner events. And if other people, apart from the people who've spoken today, would like to speak for 2 to 3 minutes, no more, you'd be very welcome. So contact me. A social justice movement that's offered no solidarity from other movements, including trade unions and political parties, at its time of greatest attack, can depend only on itself. And so its members have an even greater responsibility to have solidarity with each other, regardless of our political party allegiances and regardless of whether or not we're winning. And we're not. And that's exactly where the women's resistance finds itself today. We're fighting for basic measures that until very recently we took for granted and that were universally accepted. Most of them were so basic we didn't even need to argue for them. Things like women's sport, public women's toilets, women-only change rooms and fitting rooms, girls-only school toilets and change rooms. More recent wins made in recognition of the huge discriminations women and girls have had to endure for millennia include things like women's literary awards, girls' scholarships, positions in political parties and unions. These things are the ones that have been resented by many men since they were established. And like the very basic ones I mentioned at the top, like change rooms, they too are vanishing or have vanished in the blink of an eye. The thing is, no organisations from which the women's movement has historically been able to draw some support, none of them are now showing any solidarity. We're on our own. Not all radical feminists support struggle for women's basic rights. I'm a radical feminist and I do. Solidarity is an active and mutual recognition of common interest. Historically, women have played a huge role in building political parties, the union movement, community services, international aid and solidarity. But when we need support, it's absent. This time, when women's and girls' most basic rights are being removed, there's no solidarity from any left or progressive group in Brisbane, no women's organisation, funded or unfunded, no retired unionist groups who've simply taken their cue from the unions and refused to even engage with us. For us, this is a very lonely struggle. We can talk at length about the reasons for that, but the major reason, in my view, is this rapid adoption of gender ideology by lawmakers and policymakers is not about a social justice movement rising from the grassroots. As we know, social justice movement building takes decades. It's about an ideology manufactured. Oh, there's my page 3. It's about an ideology manufactured by big corporations, especially Big Pharma, and supported with glee by the universities, the neoliberal universities, funded by those big corporations, and supported with glee as well by liberal lefty misogynists, men who are from the left, who have always hated women's rights and now have a respectable way of putting abuse on those women's rights. And so there's all the greater reason for us to show solidarity with each other. And I've noticed that there has, since the election, there has been a little bit of decline in support for gender-critical feminism from some radical feminists. I think for that reason, there's even greater reason for us to stick together, for us to keep this battle going. Thank you.